Want thermal imaging inside of a ghost hunt. Come on, guys, it's interactive.
Okay. Well.
What do you think we're looking for in here?
Cold?
Right, we're looking for cold spots.
Okay.
So it's that old adage that ghosts create cold spots. It's the same principle, which is exactly why we use this style of camera. Now, this is a legit FLIR camera. This is what firemen would use to actually help save people. So this is not a phone app. So with that, we're looking for blue and black to be able to take shape or to start moving on its own. So obviously the red, orange, and yellow, because you guys can see me in there, I'm the warmest thing inside the camera right now. If you were a bachelorette party, I would be the hottest thing inside the video camera right now. Yeah, that works. Kills every time. You got to see a tipsy bachelorette party. They lose it. But anyway, so again, the other thing about this particular video is that when you get it back, is I have it set up with a blue dot that's going to bounce around the screen. That blue dot is showing you exactly where the coldest spot is in the frame at that particular moment. It also has the temperature next to it. I'm normally looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops for any kind of cold anomaly to actually come through. So I'm going to actually stop the video. That's why we look for secondary verifiers on the spirit boxes or other devices. So that way we know which Charles we're actually talking to. But the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us, but I hate politics. We're going to move on. So if I don't bring it up, they will angrily, and we don't want to do that here. This is a very prominent family. We're going to be very respectful in this space, just so you guys know. And I'll give you a little bit more history about this space before we leave. Like, I was looking to retire this space because we were getting some very angry messages from some very disrespectful ghost hunters on my teams. So I was like, do I retire it? It's a little too sensitive. We'll see what happens. So anyway, we're going to talk about Eliza. She married Charles at a young age, according to today's standards. Yes, those of you with video cameras, if you want to start them here, you can. So that would be the red circle on yours, Kevin. Got it. So when I say she married him at a young age, think of today's standards. If you're going to ask her how old she was, it's not going to be numbers from colonial times of when a woman got married, like 12 and 14. You're going to get numbers according to today's standards. The reason I bring that up is because her husband was over double her age. It was a creepy age gap back then, a creepy age gap now. So kind of keep that in the back of your brains when you guys are listening to your spirit boxes. But she married her husband because her father, who's over in England, where she's from, thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time. Well, Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she got married instead. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year for a green card. We're not even a country yet. So she did marry him out of love, and there was no foul play, so don't poke the bear. Again, don't make this woman angry. All activity will stop. Have you seen any numbers, by the way? Yeah, so just kind of keep an eye on it. It's not going to show it to me. It's going to be, so where was it? Oh, she was right. Her father didn't die right away. Instead, her father starts sending her gifts from England to this space. She turned it on. That's what happened. That's what she did. She turned it on. Oh. One of those gifts that he sent her was the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least a day. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes her blue jeans blue. Only one of you is wearing it tonight. Now you got blue jeans. So that's how we use it now. But when she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's obviously not warm here all the time. So when she figured it out, she moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of her dad and said, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with this indigo. Now have an international businesswoman during colonial times, which is something absolutely unheard of. So that's the boring business stuff. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are here. Spirit boxes, I'm going to give you guys kind of a series of questions of things you can ask. So with yours, Alex, I want you to go after Eliza's death. I want you to ask how old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So those are 4 questions that we commonly get answers to. So we'll kind of start with that with yours and kind of see what happens. With yours, we're going to keep things simple because you're going to get small 1 to 2 syllable terms. The mansion's not here anymore. You can ask what happened to it, when did that happen? So obviously those are very specific things. You can also ask the names of her children, but don't ask anything else about her children. There's a tragedy there. We don't want to poke the bear. So try to get the names only and see what kind of happens with that. I am going to, Jose, correct? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to keep Jose behind so I can show him how to use that motion sensor. The rest of you are going to be bouncing around. I'm going to be following up with all of you. I'll do 2 round robins and then pull us back here again to kind of collaborate to see what's going on. Again, if a space is weak, and I say dead as meaning no activity because of what you guys are not finding, I'll cut things short so we can move on to the next space. Keep in mind, we're doing mini investigations. 10 to 15 minutes max is all we're going to spend in a space, sometimes less than that. Now, normal investigations can go on for hours. And when I say hours, I'm talking like 8 to 12. So again, we're doing 15 minutes at a time in hopes that we're going to capture something within those 15 minutes. So start spreading out, get those spirit boxes cranked and unmuted. I'm going to keep Jose here so I can show him how to use this guy, and I'll be following up with all of you. So go ahead.
Just the questions that we're supposed to ask, are we supposed to say it out loud? Or
whatever you're comfortable with.
Oh,
if you want to focus on it, that's fine. If you want to ask him out loud, that's fine too. Whatever's easier for you. Some people get a little weird of asking questions to a person they can't see.
Got it.
So in some places you're going to see that's where I come into play. I'm like, all right, Eliza, tell me how old you were when you passed away.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'll jump in.
I got it.
All right. So with yours, have you seen any numbers yet? Nothing at all.
Nothing.
Okay. So just so you know, up to 1.1 is natural from the earth. I don't write anything down below 1.1. If 2.5 is fine, it's around the earth.
Right behind you.
Elijah, what do you say?
What is that over there? Maybe nothing. I thought I saw something poking out over there. Are you hiding from me? Huh? What's going on over here? I thought I saw it. Guess not. Guess not. Let's see. See, it's back again. Right by the telephone booth.
I don't always follow up in real time with the cameras, just so you know.
Yeah.
The reason being is because that's a small screen. It's much
Yeah.
easier to watch on a nice big computer or TV screen.
I bet.
When I spot check those, I have a pretty large computer that I do all my data work on. So I always upload it through, the
Yeah.
laptop, and then it goes over to the desktop, and I watch it on a pretty large screen, so that way I can see everything.
Okay.
So if I don't always follow up with you, it's
Yeah.
because you don't have a spirit box in your ear.
I got you.
I'm looking for those communication pieces to line up, and
Yeah.
then you're going to say, Nick, can you please take a look at, if you see something, I don't always listen to the audio, but definitely mark it like, hey, I think I see something in the corner. I thought I saw just a shadow or a cold spot coming around that corner.
Yeah.
Just say something verbally, so that way I can kind of.
I actually was like over there talking, seeing like, are you there? Because it looks like there's a cold spot or something. But I'm trying to figure out, like, there's a telephone booth, there's a rubbish bin, and in between it there's like this little shadow, and it went away, and it came back, and I tried to walk up, and it was.
Yeah,
There's
the
like
easiest way to
glass.
debunk that stuff is to just walk up close to it.
Yeah,
and
there
see
was
what's
like
going
there
on.
was like glass on the ground.
Yep.
And so I was like, oh, never
Glass
mind.
holds on to
Yeah.
obviously the breeze and the cold, and
I was like,
it's always going to be colder.
it's like, damn it.
So again, I capture with this guy probably 5 to 7 really solid pieces a year.
Okay.
Like, it's definitely a person, it's definitely a voice coming through it,
Okay.
something along those lines. When I say like it's taking shape, it is in the shape of a person. That's what
Okay.
you're looking for.
All right.
Do I capture like weird heat anomalies? I do.
Okay.
Like heat anomalies that shouldn't be there, kind of thing.
Okay.
And normally when there's a heat anomaly, that means there's a cold spot being generated nearby because temperature fluctuates.
Okay.
Right? So if it's cold here, it's warmer on another part of the earth.
Yeah.
Because it just fluctuates. You can't generate cold. You can't generate heat.
Right.
It has to fluctuate.
Okay.
So that's basically when I see a heat anomaly, I tell you to stay focused on it, because that's just as good of evidence, especially if it's going up very quickly.
Uh-huh.
If you're seeing something go from, a bluish color to a reddish color, like in a fast motion.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't have the heat dot on there, but I definitely have the cold dot on there, so I can kind of see what the temperature gauges are when I'm watching the video. Because I
Okay.
have caught those, and I'm like, what the hell is that?
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I watch enough of this to where I'm like, yeah, I had to learn thermodynamics like really fast.
Well, okay. Well, yeah, I haven't. I got a little suspicious there a couple times, but I just sat and made sure.
Yep.
Just sat and watched and see. But I kept going back over there because it's like, man, it's still there, but it's the glass.
But you
It's
can,
freaking glass.
I hate to say 9 out of 10 times you can debunk it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of that camera, is you
Okay.
can't hide in it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Okay.
So, and if you can get closer to something, because you're like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where things get weird. But if something goes by that's super fast and it's in the shape of a human, it's gone.
Okay.
Like, you're not going to get close to it.
Okay. All right. Cool. There's Maria. And that's Alex. I'm trying to point it down that way you can't see the sky.
You got something else? Ready.
Somebody over here.
Definitely keep an eye on it, especially in this area. Maria, you got anything?
What is this over here? you trying to poke your head out there? What is this? What is that right there? Electric box? Yeah. Damn it. You got me all excited again. It's funny how the car's still hot.
Okay.
So I'm gonna see it.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's so crazy. Oh, I'm like listening and trying to associate words with.
How many words have you heard?
3 or 4.
Really?
I think. He said one of them is significant.
Oh.
Did you get anything?
No, I thought so, but I keep like debunking it. It's like when there was a cold thing. It looked like there was a cold over there by the rubbish. Over there, it looked like someone was poking their head out.
Mm-hmm.
And I went up there to look, and it was glass on the ground. So yeah. What's her name? What's it?
Eliza.
Eliza?
Yeah. Eliza.
Eliza, when did you die?
Oh, she said leave.
You want me to leave,
No.
Eliza?
She said leave. I heard
Leave?
leave.
Alright, just head to the back.
She told you to leave?
I just heard leave. And he said that there's some sensitivity around some of the things and the circumstances around her death.
So I just asked Eliza,
Yeah.
when did she die? And then she told her to leave.
Yeah. She's was it from a radio?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes they come through disembodied.
9.5.
How much?
9.5.
9.5.
And it just went off like that? Just like that's the noise that happens?
Well, he's also getting colors. So the colors are motion, and then the numbers he's getting is EMF, like electricity detection. So
There's like a little thing bouncing around you. That's the cold dot keeps bouncing around him.
Well, yeah, actually, right behind him.
It keeps bouncing like back and forth like this.
So go ahead and kill your well, I want you to keep yours going if you got something bouncing around.
I think it was just a blue dot, right? And it keeps bouncing around him after it beeped.
Okay, so go ahead and kill it then, because it'll give me the temperature.
I don't know why, but I just felt like filming right here.
I got eyes and terrible.
They see me.
You got anything coming out of there? You got anything coming out?
Well, 107, Abraham.
Stop right here.
Baby.
107.
Abraham.
And you had eyes and terrible.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting thing about eyes. We commonly get the letters RI down here. The weird thing is like, I also have a digital Ouija board in my bag that I will hand out for somebody to use, and I bought it for this specific space. The initials RI are going to stand out here, but you had the word eyes. So again, not really sure that we're going to find the R by itself, but we'll see what actually happens. So, welcome to Philadelphia Alley. This is a very unique place. Every tour comes down here, just so you guys know. In the event that they will come down either way, we'll just kind of split the seas and let them pass through. This used to be called Dueller's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So, which is why we're here. Every ghost tour tells the same story. However, you're going to get more details out of this because we're not sitting around a campfire with marshmallows. You need more details for your spirit boxes. Which, by the way, I haven't checked my word list in a minute.
That was weird.
You got something?
I'm gonna walk behind you. Sorry.
No, you're good. Oh, yeah. There's
Something.
people coming.
Well, there was something here, so I was trying to
somebody creeping in the bushes.
Sorry. Creepy.
So, here's how the story goes. There's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. There's your first RI, Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. I say his name slowly because it does often show up here.
Joseph.
He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She's an attorney, helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. He tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So, Dr. Ladd moves down here to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. As he's coming into town, a coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. So he wasn't having a very good start to his stay in Charleston. But somebody was walking by. He's a local, not actually from here, but he lived here long enough. His name was Ralph Isaacs. There's your second RI. So we do have RI that shows up here a lot. Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay there, rent a room, and you'll be safe. 59 often shows up here as well, as does the word church. Not to mention, we're next to St. Philip's Church. So we do get a lot of religious terms around here. But anyway, the doctor is very faint in the background. I get more excited about the word whistle coming through on a spirit box. Through the recording. Like, oh shit, we're in Philadelphia, Cali, and I heard the word whistle. Or an actual whistle coming through. I get more excited about that than I would on the voice recorder, just because of what it actually is. It's a little bit more validation than, was it the wind? Was it anything going by? But if you hear how quiet it is now, it is always this quiet. Even on a busy Saturday afternoon, I don't know how or why, but this alley always remains this quiet. It's the creepiest thing ever. It's the most gorgeous spot we have, by the way. You can put rainbow. It is gorgeous down here. This is probably one of my favorite spots in all Charleston, believe it or not. When I'm coming down here and just kind of doing more research and seeing if I can capture more evidence that you guys don't hear in real time, I just sit down on an edge, I light up my pipe, and I just sit here and listen to a spirit box and wait for something to happen on the EMF. That's how I know these readings so well. So I spend time in here before I take you guys to them. But I've been touring this spot for about 3 years. So again, I know it pretty well. Have you guys heard any? I know you've been focused on me. Did you hear anything?
I heard one. I just heard one.
The word. Oh, who heard the numbers? Wasn't there something with a 7?
109, 107.
I think it was 107. Sevens normally show up in doubles. So there's probably another 7 that you may have missed because you were focused on me. The reason why, it's the doctor's birthday, July 7th, 7-7. We get 7s here all the time. So again, when you told me that number, I was not surprised. So it's not that I'm not excited about it, but I know that there's probably a second one on the recording that she missed in real time. So that's why we record everything. Unfortunately, we can't always do that because of the device that you're using. All right, I say we go learn about some crazy... Oh, before we leave, this gate. I love this gate, and I always forget to do this. So this gate is here, and the reason why I stop here is because this is the shortcut. Remember that the alley didn't go all the way through. So if there was a loser to a duel, meaning somebody who died from a gunshot wound, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall. So this is a courtyard, and there's St. Philip Cemetery is right there.
You heard shotgun, right?
Who heard shotgun?
Shotgun, you said? Oh, I didn't hear shotgun. Did you hear?
Did you hear shotgun?
When we were crossing that way, that side,
Yeah. You heard shotgun?
shotgun.
That's decent stuff. We'll take gun in this location. It definitely wasn't a shotgun. Like, these would have been flintlocks.
Okay.
So, like dueling pistols. So, 1786, so wouldn't have had the flare anymore. So, would have definitely been a... Sorry, I had to study the damn flintlocks based on pirates in this because we were getting, like, parts of flintlocks. Like brass pan, flash, all of the little things that are part of a flintlock gun. So it was kind of like, what the I don't know guns. Like, I'm not a gun guy. So it's kind of like, damn it, I gotta look into guns. Damn these pirates and dueling people. All right, so those of you recording, if you want to continue recording as we kind of go through the next space, by all means do so. Remember that we're going to be seeing other tours, just don't film them directly. So let's do this. We're going to hopefully get some readings out of you at the next space. Yeah, I don't know.
Kept thinking I saw something over there,
Where?
like a little black shadow back there. But
Yeah, shadow?
well, I thought I did, but I think I'm imagining things.
I'm still going to take note of it.
I just got 5 and 6.
You said died in 6? There's something in the window over here. Do you see something right here? Like in the window? Kind of like that bottom pane? See that dot?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Oh, okay.
You say you saw a black shadow over there?
Yeah, it was like a little. Oh, in the alleyway. Yeah, on the ground. It looked like it was running across. I don't know where we are. This is creepy. You hear
Cold.
anything? You hear anything?
I got some stuff I told him. Prison.
Prison?
Yeah, I told him.
Oh. Oh, I thought you meant you just got it just
no.
now.
No, I get it before when we were walking.
Anything else you may have heard?
No.
Just got the word rope.
Oh.
Pirates were hung. Did you get anything out of there? Again, this is all vague stuff, but still vaguely relevant. So we're going to see if we get the word hung or any of the names of the pirates that we're going to be discussing. This is about to give me another turn. Who wants to go through it? Come on, Anne. What do you want to tell us? Before I even tell your story. That's crazy. Regard.
Chris.
I don't know who Chris is. I'm going to write it down anyway, just in case. We're going to be discussing that little tiny building over there with the crosses on it. First off, those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. Earthquake bolts.
Ralph. Ralph.
Row?
Ralph. A name.
Ralph?
Ralph? You heard Ralph?
Ralph.
Where did you hear that at?
There.
So you were getting bleed over from... Were you close to the camera by chance?
Where?
Yeah, like when she heard Ralph
Because
come
I
through?
live, I stay by myself, like
You're-
alone.
okay. Just didn't know if we were to have something to verify, because I mean, Ralph is a very specific name. I think that's good. So, those earthquake bolts, the reason I bring those up is part of the reason why we're here. So, earthquake bolts, if you're not familiar with them, they're basically turnbuckles. So if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, like what I talked about earlier, you can turn those turnbuckles, and it's supposed to tighten the building back up so it doesn't get any further damage from the earthquake. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So Californians laugh at me every time I tell them about this. They're like, yeah, that technology is really old. But those earthquake bolts specifically are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in, because that's the oldest government building we have in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We are here because this building is what I call a familiar. So it's like using a toy to attract a child ghost for your TV shows. This would be a familiar building because Anne Bonny came here at the time that this building was being constructed. So it's something that she would actually recognize. So this building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. But the story begins actually in the middle of that. So 1708. Try to follow me. There's a couple of twists in here. We're talking about crazy-ass pirates. So, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and her father's mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. You guys with me so far?
Yep.
See, it's a couple of blank faces. Do I need to go over it again? So she's with her dad and his girlfriend. The girlfriend is her mom. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. So, yeah, how mad was the wife that they had to leave Ireland to come here by boat? Just pointing that out.
Have you met an angry Irish woman before?
I know, right? I'd be bolting the country too. So they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. So it's about an hour north of here. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to be able to sell anything from the plantation to help keep things afloat. So backwards, let's take a step back a little bit. Back in Ireland, Anne is said to have killed one of her servants when she was only 7, 8, 9 years old. Remember, this is pirate war, and nothing is going to be exact. With a knife to the belly, to the servant. So again, just want to put the mentality of this young lady in your heads as we go through her story. Fast forward, the building is done in 13. By 1715, pirates are coming through town. Anne is stoked. Why? Because she's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world. First guy she falls in love with. Yes, I said first because there's a handful. Chris is not one of them, by the way. So, first guy is James Bonny. You already know where this is going because we've already mentioned her married name, Anne Bonny. Dad didn't approve. Filthy pirates, they ran away to Jamaica, they got married. We now have Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. However, James Bonny is not Captain Jack Sparrow like she was hoping for. This guy happens to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's basically ratting out his own people to the British. So this guy's a coward in her eyes, and she falls in love again a few years later. This is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is the guy that they based your Captain Jack Sparrow character off of. So this is the guy that she actually wants. Jack has his own ship, and Anne wants to be part of the crew. You can't put a girl on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why? Family friendly.
Mutiny.
You can't put a girl on a pirate crew because it's bad luck.
Oh.
So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like the crew and hide your gender, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to hide her away from his wife. So she said, whatever, let's do this, I'm a pirate. But let's put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl, and then they're going to get Jack off the ship. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby over here. These are friends of mine that'll help you. Come back later. We'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. The weird thing about this part of the story, she comes back dressed as a girl, which means Jack's crew is going to now know that he let a girl on the crew basically get him off the ship. He's pretty mad. While she was gone, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. She's going to go flirting with that pirate crew, and that's guy number 3, in case you guys lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females dressed like males trying to be pirates. Her name was Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So, her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers, we don't really know for sure, but the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to take down one pirate ship. Rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1 bullet flintlocks. Obviously, they're not going to be able to take on a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested. While they're being arrested, she looks at her beau, Captain Jack. She says, sorry to see you here, but you should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up here a lot. We've even had dogs barking on a commercial before. So just weird things. So the judge wants to see the quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. So he's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates. They're dead and gone. So the 2 ladies go in front. They reveal their gender. He doesn't care that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. We plead our bellies was the last thing they screamed because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails her out, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary because we don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt, I know. But we don't know much about her after her pirate career. As far as Mary Reed goes, she died a year later, in 1721, from whatever pirates die from in Jamaican jails. Use your imagination. Most books will tell you that it was fever. I'll call bullshit on that. It was probably some kind of scurvy or nasty, bumpy mess that she had going on. A couple of things I left out of here on purpose. You guys know what you're doing with your spirit boxes by now. The only 2 things I really left out of here are the name of Calico Jack's ship and the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and his mistress. So I left those out purposely just so you have something to go with. We're not dealing with a prominent English woman here. Don't be afraid to get a little aggressive with these questions. We're not tiptoeing around Eliza Pinckney here. So again, sometimes we have to stir the pot to get Anne to really answer us. So Jose, with yours, you're going to turn on that REM pod in the back, and hopefully Anne is going to show you what color her hair was. It was red. This is the only space I've ever gotten a red on command, meaning I asked, hey, can you show me the color red? And we got the color red. Turns out it's her hair color. So those are the things we're going to be looking for. Don't get excited when you see numbers close to that, like the bush line. We have 2 electrical poles in the corners that'll make your device go off with the numbers. It's all about colors in here, so kind of let me know what colors you're seeing. We are going to spread out. We'll see what's going on. Again, I'll know within 5 minutes if we have something going on, but we already have the word rope and prison that showed up while we've been here, so we'll kind of see what else we get. The best orb I've ever caught with that camera has been at this location near that wall up there, just so you have an idea of what's going on. Kevin, as far as your camera, it has acted up in this space in the past, where it has whatever that person was filming, that device stopped working. Like the strangest things. And then started back up again once they stopped filming that particular person. Like crazy stuff has happened in this space. But again,
interesting.
Sometimes things happen, sometimes they don't. We'll see what happens. So let's spread out. Let's have some fun.
I think I'm related to Aunt Bonnie.
Huh?
I think I'm related to Aunt Bonnie.
Why?
Just because I wanted to tell her that I'm related to her.
Did you get to tell your mom?
No, Aunt Bonnie. I think we might be related. I'm coming over here. Is that what I think I see? Or not? Maybe that's just the trees. Is that just trees? I thought that was just... That's what I thought. Is that like a shadow of someone walking? I think Jorge just walked behind me, so maybe it was a shadow. That cool dot keeps following him around, but it's not right now. That's the coolest spot. What is this? What is this right here? Oh, that's just a stone. Where was Aunt Bonnie hung? Can you show me where you were hung? Were you hung here? I don't know. Let's see what this old building is. I don't see it. What? Okay, what is that? Nothing? Trying to make sure I walk and not fall and hit something. Every once in a while, it's like this thing will go like bright red. Everything goes red.
Well, it's based on what's in the screen.
Yeah.
So let's give you a perfect example. Let's come over to this wall. Go ahead and point the camera pretty close to this wall without me in it. See how it turns red?
Uh-huh.
Watch what happens to the wall now.
Oh.
It's based on what's inside.
Okay.
So notice it lands on my wedding ring.
Yeah.
Because the ring is obviously metal.
Yeah.
And it's going to hold on to the coldest temperature.
Okay.
So that's why you see it fluctuate.
Gotcha. Okay.
I want to know the color of the hair.
What's going on over here? It's over there beside Alex there. I'm right behind you. Sorry. It's palm trees. Come on, man, Bonnie. Come on. Show yourself. I dare you. Why would you be scared of us? Just show up. Peek your head out there or something. You're a pirate. I'm talking to her. I'm trying to get her to answer.
Oh.
She's being chicken shit.
Alex, you got anything?
Yeah, I wrote a bunch of stuff down.
What is that? Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, and all the numbers just came from this. I wasn't asking.
Also looks like a date. She heard 120.
Oh.
So to me, that looks like January 29th. So again, I have to think outside the box when numbers start to pop up.
Okay.
But 11 is definitely the month of her trial because it was November 28th. But that was in 1720. So we have the month and the year. If we could, damn it, I wish she heard 128. Then
Yeah.
we'd have all three damn numbers.
Huh.
You see where I'm going?
Yeah. I gotcha.
So we'll give this another few minutes because it seems like we're getting some vaguely good stuff. I was waiting for Jose to get something, but he doesn't have any readings at all.
Oh.
Boy, we were just walking by here and it went green on him.
Yeah, and that's because of the parking meters on the other side. It's going to be close enough to give him a little bit of emotion. The greens I normally don't even write down. They're too small. Like we're looking for big. So it's the blues and the purples, which is the middle readings.
Okay.
Got the color orange. I don't know what the hell that's for reference to.
My screen.
Very true.
Trying to figure out what the heck that is over to the left of the tree. You see it? Like, see the tree? Just to the left of it, there's like this white little lines. I don't know what that is,
Me either.
but it's kind of moving around a little bit. You see it bobbing a little bit?
It looks like a window almost.
Yeah, it kind of does, but maybe. But see, the weird thing about it is, oh, I see what it is. Maybe it might be the corner post of the wall. But it's weird. It looks like kind of like angel wings or something, and they're just kind of moving. But see, over to the left, there's two more squares.
They look like windows.
Yeah, they're like perfect, but there's no window there. I'm really curious now what that is. There's more squares. Like when I move them over, there's squares again. Yeah, but maybe it's the tombstones.
What you looking at?
There's like this little. Let me try to get it. See those little squares there? There's like those two squares, and there was a bigger rectangle up in here that was just kind of floating a little bit. But I was trying to make out if it was the building and there's windows or something, but you can still see it below the wall. And then there's two over there.
Hang on. Look in real time. You see the metal signs? Remember, this doesn't see depth either. It's only looking at surfaces.
Oh, okay. Yep. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's
So
like a
the
little
metal
square.
squares over here are going to be the signs. But if you saw something black in the distance, it's probably coming from the car windows.
Uh-huh. Wait, what? Yeah, it wasn't black as much as it was like an outline, like someone sketched something, you know? And
Well,
it
the
was,
white outline shows up. That's the temperature differences. It's trying to help you see in 3D. 'Cause it sees in 2D.
okay.
So it puts white outlines on things when there's a difference in temperature major. So if like the metal
Got it.
to the air, it might actually have a white outline around it.
Ah, perfect. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's what it is.
But yeah, if you saw a rectangle, it's probably, and it's usually offset a little bit from the actual temperature gauges. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, there's something near the sign.
Yeah, but it kind of just is sitting there, kind of weird.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense now. I've been looking through this freaking lens the whole time, but not really.
All right, guys, let's bring it in. Kind of tell me what we got going on here.
And this happened kind of also weird with it's happened a few weeks ago with my dad. He was in the hospital, and I was really worried about him. I hadn't said anything, and I got in the car, and the song that he and I have together came on, which is kind of a little unusual.
What's the song?
It's Windy Weekend.
Hey, Alex, remember? Sorry to interrupt, but remember those photos I showed you of the
Yeah.
image of someone jumping over the fence?
Uh-huh.
That's this fence.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
I have more evidence of that than I do of some legend or Civil War spirit line. I've never even like reached out to these people like, hey, can I bring my tours through here? Like, I'm not gonna do that. I just don't get a whole lot of evidence.
You got anything?
No.
Nothing.
No, I was just.
Get more of it from the front too. You can see it.
I just took photos too, though, because that's the same place.
Mm-hmm.
You hear anything?
I got 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
But to answer your question, yes. Right. None of that was coincidence.
Yeah. It was just really weird. It
Talking about Let It Be? The
yeah,
song?
the Let It Be song. The one with my dad the other week.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, this is creepy. I think I'm moving too fast.
It's alright, them cold anomalies will still show up. I think the best evidence I have of that camera came from a little kid. That person walking right there.
Oh, really? Oh.
I mean, you could see the entire shape, the walking motions, the whole nine, and there wasn't a person there because I verified it with the other camera.
That's weird.
That was cool. Probably some of the best evidence I've ever had from that camera.
This just says to record me.
hear anything along the way? I know we were chatting quite a bit. Did you guys hear anything out of that spirit box?
She was
What'd you get, Maria?
I'm getting a lot of names.
Like what?
Joe, again Ralph,
Ralph again?
and Joseph, and Aunt.
Like Anne Vaughn.
The Aunt, yeah. Well, I just remember the Aunt.
Were you getting those names along the way here, closer to the cemetery back there?
No, here.
Here as we were walking in? And Ralph was interesting.
But Ralph is the second time.
Yeah, but that's a weird name to hear on the radio. Interesting. So I actually had the name George show up
Oh, George as well.
as we were
over there.
walking through. It showed up on my word list. You're in George Washington Park. So again, hopefully the word Washington will show up. That's an easy grab from a radio station. So hopefully we get the full name. Unfortunately, we're not here for George. We're here for the guy behind me. This is Henry Timrod. So I was waiting for you to tell me either the name Henry or Tim. His name is Timrod. The first time I came here, I was just experimenting. I only had 2 people that night. It was nice and cold. Nobody wanted to come out ghost hunting besides those 2. And I was like, we're going to experiment with this space and see what happens. We had Henry, Tim, and the year of his birth, the exact year of his birth show up, which I want to say was like 1827 or something along those lines. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I was like, I know I've heard this story before, so I had to go home and research who the heck Henry Timrod was. So the story of Henry is that he was sick through most of his life, and he was obviously during the time of the Civil War, and he wanted to go fight in the Civil War and fight for the Confederacy. So he went to the battlefield, but his friends realized he was too sick to fight. So they basically told him to go home and be the voice of the war. It's because they knew he was a writer. So he went home and started writing poetry about what was going on the battlefield and in the hearts and minds of all of those here in Charleston, because it was a pretty big deal for us down here. So a few years later, after the Civil War is over, he actually has a son that dies at a pretty young age. I'm not going to tell you how old he was or what his name was, but hopefully you get those through your spirit boxes. So he's like grief-stricken, and a couple of years later he's still writing, but his college friend called him up and said, I have a cottage out here in Columbia. Why don't you come out here and finish writing the piece you're working on for the paper in peace and quiet? So he goes out to this cottage, and that's where he wrote his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality, meaning person of short life. And then he coughed, and whatever he coughed landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. That blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. So they show this page one day a year at the Charleston Library Society because that's where his collection is held. And they only show it on Halloween. It is called the Blood Book. I am going to show you the page so you know what it looks like, and then I'm going to actually read a stanza to kind of stir things up from one of his poems called Charleston. Yeah, Charleston's pretty common. This shows up. But this is the page that he coughed on, and you can even see his last words of beholder of brief mortality. So it's just kind of ironic that he died after coughing on this page and writing that specific line. So again, it looks like a man writing at his desk. But again, they only show this in real life on Halloween. So the stanza that I read is based off of that, like I said, the poem Charleston, and it just kind of stirs things up. This is a very shy, short man, so when you're asking questions like what his wife's name was, what his son's name was, his son's birthday is very specific as well. It's a holiday, so hopefully you guys may hear that. We've gotten it here in the past. But anything else you want to ask, just again, remember he's shy. Kind of keep that in mind. We know not in the temple of the fates, God has inscribed her doom. Look, and he notices God as a female. And all untroubled in her faith she waits, the triumph or the tomb. This was written in 1862, right in the middle of the Civil War, basically stating that Charleston has to await the outcome of the war to know if Charleston is going to be part of the triumph or part of the tomb. So they need to rise or fall. So again, we do get heavy, heavy, heavy EMF readings here. We've seen triple digits in certain grassy areas, but it's never consistent. So if you find them, obviously the motion sensor needs to be on too in this location. Other tours love to come through here. We even have a homeless gentleman that likes to hang out kind of stay clear of him and any other tours that are passing through. So again, oh, by the way, do you guys know what an SLS camera is? That's the stick figures you guys see on the TV shows.
Yeah.
Somebody brought one of those on my tour a few weeks ago. We had an 8-minute interaction of a stick figure standing next to this statue. And when I say interaction, Henry, is it okay if I read the last stanza of Charleston? Raise your right hand. Goes up and then down. Henry, do you want to shake my hand? It was a woman standing next to the wrought iron gate here, and she outreached her hand and he disappeared, and we couldn't get him back. You have to remember the time he came from. It was probably disrespectful for a female to outreach her hand to shake a man's hand. So again, this was 1867 that he passed away. So again, those were different times back then. So we couldn't get it back. And we tested the fact that it was a legitimate figure. I walked around this thing several times. I told you all of your data goes to my website. You can go back to December, and I notated it so everybody knows which investigation it was, and you can go right to the marker and watch the video yourself. It is crazy stuff. Unfortunately, the gentleman that brought the camera didn't know how to record, so we had to use your camera over the shoulder of the person using the SLS camera. So we have the footage that way, and that way you get to hear all of the things that we were asking him. Very cool interaction. So with that technology, we actually found a better technology with a tablet, with an iPad. So we're going to be adding an SLS camera to this in the next couple of weeks. Of course, I have to test it in a few locations before I bring it to the tour to teach you guys how to use it. But instead of carrying that big bulky thing around, because I did have one of those, we found a way to use a tablet with the new LiDAR technology that's being used in iPad products. So again, LiDAR is a depth perception. It's very cool. Sorry to get all geeky out on you, but I can't wait to bring this thing to the tour. Like, it's going to be a big deal. So we're pretty excited about that. And after seeing that interaction and seeing how it actually can work, it's really cool stuff. But yeah, let's have some fun. This is our last stop, just so you guys know. Definitely, I'll be keeping an eye on you. Let me know if you get any triple digits. Anything over 100, like, I'm stoked about. But again, I'll take even like 50s to 75s. But yeah, get those gearboxes cranked up. Let's see what we can find in here. Let's do this.
What's the name of that camera? LSD camera?
SLS. Yes. So, when you guys get your data back, I actually wrote a few of them. So, if you didn't have a spirit box, you know how to listen to Alex of your Pole. And I also list the apps that I trust. There is an SLS camera app that we're going to be attaching to that iPad. It works better with an Apple product, but it can work on an Android phone. It just doesn't work as well. So that is actually going to be listed on your field guide as well, so you can be able to download it right to your phone. So I make things nice and easy. Like, I don't make any money from it. I just want you guys to have the knowledge of how to actually go through this stuff. So again, I wrote that field guide so you can show cameras.
I keep getting this like hair on the back of my neck stand up right around this here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like, what was his name? Henry?
Henry Timrod.
Henry, you here with us? Because I feel you. I feel you, so. Yeah, I get this, like, weird hair up my, chills up my back. Like, just right at this thing. When I was over there, still.
Just the phrase last name was the only thing that's kind of come through.
I don't know. I can't leave this place. I guess, like, chills.
The app that we're putting on the iPad, like, you can use it on an Android. It just doesn't work in the same fashion. So you can see like how it's picking him up already.
Oh yeah. So that's what you saw over there?
Oh yeah, there was a full interaction. He was probably 6.5, 7 foot tall, which is weird because Henry was short. Which is why I was like, all right, I gotta test this. So he stayed on the other side, and I walked around it to see, like, I wanted to make sure my interaction was gonna.
Yeah.
Yep, it was all there. But yeah, this technology works with a different type on an Android phone, so that's why we're gonna go with an iPad. The LiDAR technology, if you know anything about that camera, the Kinect camera that it uses from Xbox, it uses like 1 million dots to kind of get those pinpoints for all of the mapping. Now, LiDAR technology floods it with light that you can't see, the same way that the infrared is working over there. So you get a much better depth perception and way more accurate results. So I'm not about to just set up another Android phone and say, hey, here we go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even that camera that he's using, I've upgraded that thing 3 times. So for an attachment for a cell phone, like that's the highest one you can get. Because I keep like, oh, this one has this feature, I like that. Let's upgrade. So every 6 months, I always change everything else. Everything's on a schedule. So that way it doesn't get overused and that kind of thing, so it misnumbers. But I've replaced that 3 times now. And the camera that Jorge is using, like I've gone through at least 6 of those now. Like because they're not built very well.
No.
So again, 6 of them in the past year. Like yeah, and they're not cheap. Yeah, the camera he's using, I want to say is 300. Just the camera.
Oh wow. Yeah.
You know, not to mention the arm, the battery pack, the torch lighting, all of it. You know, they weren't expecting people to do what I did to that thing for the tour. But I'll let you continue listening. I'm chatting away, and you're supposed to be working.
Okay.
Any other craziness coming up over here?
No, not really.
The weird thing is that on the exact opposite side of this obelisk is where we get those crazy triple-digit readings from Jose's device.
Really?
I mean, we've had that thing go all the way to 157.
Wow. He keeps going over there by that tree like he's getting something over there.
He's getting a lot of green. Have you gotten any numbers yet?
I'm gonna walk this way. See what's up here. What's going on here? Why do I have this like weird vibe? I'm probably talking to him. Anybody here? Anybody here? If so, can you like show yourself? Walk across the screen or something. Can you walk across? Show yourself. Did I just see that? Walk around. I don't see anything yet, but $11 o'clock, huh? Keep asking these guys to show up and walk across the grass or something for me. Nobody's showing up yet.
And Ben came like 3 times.
this location.
Ben or something sounding like that.
Well, one of the locations I took out, it was kind of a dry spot. Like things would only occur like every 5 to 6 weeks because it's on a loop. So like those in between weeks, I'm like, yeah, I need to do something about this. But the name Ben would show up there a lot because he used to live there. But we'd only get it every 5 to 6 weeks. But the fact that it is weird. The fact that you heard it like 2 or 3 times, like, who the hell's Ben? Because she also had another name that showed up for me, and I was like, oh, it's Sarah. I don't know who Sarah is. Again, there's a million monuments in here.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So we've actually, because what they're looking at right now is the Marguerite monument, and we've actually had on that Ouija board her name spelled out, Marguerite. Like, I think it was missing like one of the vowels or something. But it was like, you can't mistake what it's trying to tell us.
Yeah.
And we've also had her initials show up, MV. So, yeah, shit I can't make up.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell was weird.
Yeah.
Again, I'm still learning these things about this particular space just because there's so many monuments. Right after the word George, we had the word property on my word list. George property,
Yeah.
right in Washington Park.
Right.
So I'm excited about that. Yeah, he's getting a bunch of like emotion, but I can't. He's moving, so I can't really concur with what he's finding.
Oh, yeah,
You know what I
like
mean? So
stand
he has
still.
to like stop, stand still, reset it, and if it goes back to the same color, then I'm game.
Yeah.
But so I've been like
Yeah.
staring at your hat the whole night, by the way.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's branded bills. They got a couple sugar skull hats. I like them.
Well, I collect the Boston Scallies.
Yeah.
I got a whole stack of them. The wife just got me more for Christmas. Like, how many more damn hats do I need? She's like, you go through them in the summertime. So
I got a handful of hats.
you don't have any hair underneath. I saw that.
Yeah,
I
no,
still
I-
got my full head. I'm sure you shave yours.
Well, it's shaved part of it. The rest of it I don't need to shave.
Where you got
Where's
it?
Ben?
You're warm.
You hearing anything?
I heard be careful.
Oh yeah. Did you say that?
I didn't say anything.
Or did you tell him?
I'll tell him in a sec.
Oh, you're taking notes.
Yeah, because they were coming at the last spot. They were coming really quick.
Where did you hear? Be careful.
Just right over here.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been asking for someone to show up and cross the grass or something. Nothing's happening. Oh. You gonna ask questions over here? Whose monument is this? Put your hand on it. Is it who? I'm on this side. Can you put your hand on this thing? Can you put your hand on it? Can you touch it? Touch the monument for me. Just like this. Just like this. Go like this. Touch it. Just like that. Touch it. Leave a handprint like me. Leave a handprint like I did. Alright, I'll leave you alone then. I thought somebody was over there in between these two, but they're not. It's not. There's a street light. Thought I saw motion.
I tell you that I heard a golf game?
That's crazy. That's a lot of rounds. All right, Alex, come on over. Tell us what you got, if anything. Jose, you got any numbers? Nothing. Cat go by or something?
I don't know, but I heard something a couple times over there, so I didn't know what it was.
What is that? Is it a rope? Yeah. Something hanging from there, right? I saw somebody over there.
Well, you've been filming this whole time, so hopefully we caught something. That'd be really cool.
¿Es una tele? ¿Qué es eso?
It's about